Welcome to the 30. I am Patrick. I am your host of this weekly live broadcast. And I'm also the principal and founder of the Jackman Group LLC. We're a training and development company. And I want to thank you for joining the 30. If this is your very first time, the 30 is a weekly live broadcast where we speak with exciting people, leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, personal and professional development experts. And tonight is no other. I am so fired up about tonight. We're going to travel all the way down to Pensacola, Florida, and we're going to speak with Dr. Jim White, also known as the Book Doctor. So Jim is a professor at Pensacola Christian College, and he's also known as a relentless networker, connector who mentors and educates the business leaders of tomorrow. And our discussion tonight is going to focus primarily on Jim's journey from making sales quotas to being an educator. And I am looking forward to chatting with Jim. I had an opportunity to talk with him briefly yesterday, and he has a story. So we are looking forward to it. If you have missed any of our previous broadcasts or episodes, you can catch them in replay. Go to the Jackman Group LLC YouTube channel and make sure that while you're there, subscribe to the channel and like some of our broadcasts. So I am not going to delay this because I know you are here to see Jim. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Oh yeah, let's go. Welcome. Hello again and welcome to the 30. Thank you for joining this episode. My guest is Dr. Jim White, professor, relentless networker, connector, and who mentors and educate business leaders of tomorrow. Jim, that is a lot to take in. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate the invite. Tremendous. It's a great day to be here.
All right. How's Pensacola doing, Jim?
It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be. I used to live in Minnesota, so now's the time that I send text messages to my friends still in Minnesota and going, man, I'm still having to run air conditioning. Can you believe that?
That is cold. That is not very nice, Jim. Not very nice at all. Hey, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. As I told our viewers, I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Tell our viewers a little bit about Dr. Jim White, who you are, what you do, and so on.
Oh, great. No, I have got the greatest job in the world. I absolutely do. I am a college professor. I generally talking about classes in marketing or sales, but I get a chance to talk to some wonderful college students, anywhere from 19 to 23, usually about making some big decisions in life, about leadership, about how you can step forward and own and take control of your life by making the right choices and how to go about making them. So it's a great time. I look forward to it. I get to work with them every single day.
Now, your background has not always been an educator and working with young people, right?
That's true.
I think you said you have, is it 30 years?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I've had a chance for about 30 years. I generally worked in the B2B, the business to business sales and marketing, generally working either the legal field or the insurance field, working on complex litigation cases, working on a lot of antitrust and discrimination cases, where we would come alongside as agents of the court, and then we would help implement civil settlements to find the people that were harmed and then distribute funds to them. So that was also very rewarding and enjoyed it a lot. Had a chance to travel to 49 out of 50 states. And
wow.
Let's see, I made every continent except Antarctica. There's not much litigation going on there.
You have an interesting life, Jay. First, what was the one state that you didn't go to?
Oh, if I told you that, then my students would know.
Okay, all right,
That
okay.
would be cheating. No, that's fair. Let's see if they listen. North Dakota.
North
I've
Dakota.
been to South Dakota, and by the way, uh, Mount Rushmore is as impressive as you think it will be. It's
Mm,
phenomenal, but no North Dakota yet.
okay, all right. So that's on your list, right?
I feel like I need to close that loop.
Okay. Yep. Hey, just go for it. It's just one more. So, Jim, you went from that career. It's funny because last week I had Jackie on, and she was talking about Life 2.0,
Yeah.
the career change, and you went from that to now your 2.0 career, which is teaching. Why the change?
I know it just seems so unusual, right? But what
Yeah.
is it? Aren't you, if you're a business leader, aren't you a teacher? Aren't you
Yes.
constantly trying to help your folks grow? And when I did work as a sales manager as well as had direct sale responsibility, and then in the consulting firm, we all had responsibility for selling. But aren't you always iron sharpening iron, trying to get better and help
Yep.
everybody? So is it all that different? It is an interesting journey. I know that in the business world, there's not much call for a PhD. That's kind of you usually don't do that. But when I finished my MBA, I thought, done. Now I've got all these cute kids I can play with, because I had my wife and I have three little ones at the time, and I was like, well, I'm done. What else do I need? I got the MBA world. But as I was having some personal time, prayer time, as I tried to do every single morning, I felt the prompting to take the next step to do a PhD, which I thought was crazy, because it's PhD is a pretty big commitment. But my wife and I talked about it and decided that that was the path for us to go. If you're going to do a PhD while you're working full time, very important to marry well, because your partner has to step up and do some stuff that you just don't have time for. So that's a huge hit. But yes, I was able to get the PhD while I maintained my consulting practice,
Oh,
which was
wow.
interesting. I don't recommend it. Yeah, my sleep patterns are permanently scarred, no doubt.
So Mrs. White, she held it down. Thank God for Mrs. White.
100%. Yeah, she deserves half the PhD.
There you go. So how long did it take you? Did you go full time, or was it part
No,
time?
I did it. I was able to do it online,
Okay.
and the way that it is a PhD effort gets to be pretty solitary,
Mhm.
because what you're doing is, as a friend of mine like to said, a PhD means that you continue to learn more and more about less and less, until at the end of the day you learn absolutely everything about nothing.
Okay.
And so you do find yourself narrowing down the focus. But yeah, I was able to get the PhD done and write the dissertation in about 3 years.
Got it.
But that's going 12 months and going pretty hardcore.
Wow. While working full time.
Yes.
Oh my. And
Again,
kids. And
well,
kids.
marry well, so that she keeps it going. And it's a funny thought. I would my kids would I would bring my kids to work with me, just to have time with them on the weekends. Also, I traveled a lot for business.
Mm.
So if I was traveling, meeting with clients, I had basically unlimited time to work on the paper and reading and writing papers in hotel rooms. So I say the entire dissertation got written in airports, hotel rooms, and airplanes.
Wow. 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 That is awesome. That's great. So, Dr. Jim, so let's talk about this. What is your current role now? So you got your PhD.
Right.
Now, first, when were you hired by the college?
I've been with Pensacola Christian for about 3 years now. This is I'm in the halfway through my third year.
Okay. Okay. And how long did you get hired after your PhD?
It's just kind of an interesting process. I didn't. It was about 8 or 10 years afterwards.
Got it.
I think 8 or 10. But what I started doing is, so that I could sort of test drive to see if I liked it, is I started teaching in online colleges, and I was generally teaching usually either MBA or working in PhD programs,
Mhm.
and teaching there where there were other highly motivated learners. that were there, trying to move their career along. So that was very rewarding, working with people literally all over the world. I had this wonderful opportunity to work with a gentleman. Well, he was a lieutenant colonel from in the Air Force in Afghanistan. How's that for overcoming something? He needed to get his MBA to move forward in his military career. And so we were actually working on papers together, Afghanistan and America. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
It gets more interesting, Jim. You're that commercial that says the most interesting man in the world. You probably fit that one, the most interesting man in the world. So let's talk about your current world now, or role in terms of teaching. What do you teach, and who are your students?
Sure. I'm actually very fortunate. I know some professors that have a tendency to teach the same courses over and over. This course, or this semester, I was dealing only with seniors, a few juniors, and I had the privilege of teaching a marketing class for the MBA students, which is really exciting because it's a whole different mindset in teaching them. They're highly motivated. By the time I get them, they're focused on graduating and getting jobs, and so that's part. And then this time I taught market research and then advertising. Next semester, I will be teaching hopefully a social media course, and then market management for seniors. And then just to get it a little more interesting, I will be teaching a couple of the intro level courses that will be freshmen. So it's fascinating to work with freshmen, but it's a totally different technique teaching with freshmen as opposed to the MBA school. I'm glad I don't try to do that in the same semester. That would be hard.
Smart move.
Yeah,
move. Now you have because you and I met on LinkedIn, right? And we had a conversation there. And you have a huge LinkedIn presence. And I looked when we put this up in terms of the show, there were people coming in and liking. So how did you develop such a presence?
LinkedIn, I'm on campus. Everybody knows that if you're going to be in Dr. White's class, LinkedIn's going to come up.
Got it. Okay.
In fact, well, I'm a big believer in it because I have been on LinkedIn for more than 25 years. It's a phenomenal tool for business professionals to build their brand,
right?
And to build their identification of who they are. So I was able to successfully do that, even though I changed careers a couple of times. Maintaining the profile on LinkedIn, it made it easier to communicate. It made it easier for me to build my tribe. With a shout out to Seth Godin there. And just in general to tell the story of who I am and what I want to do. So I thought that was pretty powerful. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to communicate that to my students. So like, for example, if anyone's following me, and by the way, my name, Jim White, PhD, that's what it is on LinkedIn. You can find me. You'll get some great shots of some of my students. They're only the overachievers and the enthusiastic ones, because every Monday I give them an opportunity to earn a point on the midterm or final exam by posting a video talking about I was today years old when I whatever.
Wow.
And so you'll see them posted. And I have had some students who were so aggressive they posted every single Monday the entire semester.
That is awesome, Jim.
Isn't it?
Wow.
The key is
great idea.
The key is to give a really hard exam, so they're looking for every break they can get.
Wow. Can I borrow that concept?
It is absolutely. I would be happy to share it with you.
I love that. That is fantastic. I'm going to use it in my leadership classes that we teach as well. So that is great. Thank you so much for loaning me that piece.
I'm glad to.
Now, Jim, I'll give you credit the first 3 times, if it's okay.
Right? After that, it's yours.
The fourth time, it's mine.
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, are you on any other social platforms?
I am like the biggest nightmare for any of my children. I'm on more social media platforms than my children are. I have a TikTok account that my
Oh, wow.
students are desperate to figure out which one that is. No, I'm not going to be the big reveal here, Patrick.
Okay.
No,
All right.
I'm going to keep a little mystery. Of course, Facebook,
Facebook.
because to keep up with family, because we've moved a bit. I've got Reel and Instagram. I think the last count I was on 9, but my focus is on LinkedIn because I want to communicate to my students how
Sure.
powerful LinkedIn can be, building your brand and building your group of influencers to go out and get your story told.
Well, Jim, it seems like you have a follower here. Um, and I know her too,
Oh,
Alfreda
that's that's a
Jackson.
real background too, folks. That's nothing but books. Because I will admit, if I have a limited number of bad habits, books are one of them.
So let's talk about. We're going to come back, Dr. Jim. We're going to talk about books because I saw one of your posts and you were known as the book doctor. You were talking about books, which is right up my alley. So
Mhm.
hold that thought, right? We're going to come back in about 30 seconds and we're going to talk more about the books and recommendations on books and why you're known as the book doctor. Hold tight.
Sounds great.
You are watching the 30. I am here with my guest, Dr. Jim White, professor, relentless network who mentors and educates business leaders of tomorrow. Again, Jim, thank you so very much. So we were talking about you known as the book doctor. Explain to our viewers, what does that mean?
Well, the first thing is, obviously I'm not a real doctor, but the jacket looks good, right? Uh, it starts with, and it started as a concept in my marketing research class. I was talking to people about how you go about doing marketing and doing it in the real world, not just concepts. And I said, listen, if you put on a white jacket like this and have a clipboard in your hand, uh, you can go anywhere in the world, literally,
Mm.
because you can walk around the neighborhood and everyone is fine with it because they can see you're gathering data. If you can speak with the British accent, all the better. Uh, but the point was, I was joking with them about it because they were constantly, as I would have the students come in to talk to me in class, invariably when we would hit a point where they're like, wow, I'm looking for whatever it might be, I would always have a book recommendation for them. Many times I would have it in my office. If not, I would pull it up on Amazon, show it to them, and say, this is like this. Read this. This will fix it. And they started joking with me about the book doctor because I was Dr. White and I was always prescribing books. So that's kind of where it
Nice.
came from.
Nice, nice. I'm talking to Dr. Jim White. He's a PhD professor. If you have any questions for Dr. White, feel free to drop it in a comments field, and I'll share it with them. So you can go ahead and do that now. Any comments or questions for Dr. Jim White? So let's talk about books. And you and I had a conversation about this yesterday. And I asked you about the type of books that you read, and you were telling me all these books. And I looked to the back of you now, and there's a ton of books there. What are some of the let's say the top 3 or 4 books that you've read?
Well, and here, just to keep it real, top book ever, one that you never read enough, the Holy Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I spend time with it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get it all. Just keep reading. And it's a wonderful leadership book too. There's plenty of leadership tips there.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, other books that I like to read, I kind of think about authors. Like one of my favorite guys is Seth Godin. He did The Purple Cow. He did another one that I have my students read called Marketers Tell Stories. So that's just phenomenal, and I enjoy what he does. I love nonfiction, but historical narratives, biographies, anything. Let me just get the name. Yeah, Martin Gilbert. Martin Gilbert is probably one of my favorite writers. He did Winston Churchill, and he wrote a 3-volume work. You got to be committed. That's like 1,200 pages.
Oh, wow.
But it's the history of the 20th century. It goes from 1900 to 2000. And then anything David McCullough wrote, I have read. He is phenomenal. You probably know him for having written Truman, because he won a Pulitzer for that.
Yeah.
Then, of course, because he's a slacker, I think he followed up with John Adams, which I think also won a Pulitzer. Don't quote me on that. But it was a phenomenal book. He wrote one that people don't normally think of, but it's a wonderful leadership story. It was about how the Panama Canal was done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was called The Path Between the Seas. Phenomenal book. Teddy Roosevelt, one of my favorite presidents, has just a wonderful story in that about him just deciding that it's time for this to happen after almost 80 years of poor leadership, and he just makes it happen. Pretty impressive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Someone, Alfreda again here, she's your biggest fan. She said, can you share the most recent book you've read, Dr. Jim?
The most recent one. I have one that I am reading right now that is called Culture Solution. And it talks about how to manage and to build and to culture is a big part. Patrick, that's just huge. And changing culture in a company, it's an 80% failure rate when you need to do that.
It's a heavy lift.
This is a problem. The name Matthew Kelly and the Culture Solution. Anybody, you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'll share all these titles, the authors, whatever it is you want. That's phenomenal. Also, James Clear, Atomic Habits, unbelievable. Phenomenal book. That's one I just finished up. And I would also just comment, I'm an omnivore when it's books. If you get audiobooks, fine. I don't have a problem with that. My wife and I at some point when I started taking over large chunks of the house with books on shelves, she says, they make this thing called a Kindle.
Yeah.
So I try to only get the most special books for the hard copy, but I do the Kindle, whatever it takes. I would say definitely do it, but I also subscribe to a lot of either leadership, either emails or newsletters or whatever you call. I have one I would like to suggest to people. It's called 3-2-1 by James Clear. And he offers three thoughts for himself, 2 thoughts from others, and then 1 question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just came through today, and his question was, are you playing a game worth winning?
That's a great question. Wow, that's a
great question. It's great.
Are you playing a game worth winning?
Yeah.
Does that signify that some people play a game to lose?
Well, what is that line? If you win the rat race, you're still a rat.
Oh, jeez.
He who dies with the most toys still dies.
Oh, man.
All those other ones. Like for me, the reason that my wife and I, and we're a team in doing this, believe it or not, my wife and I she works in the marketing department.
Okay.
And one of the biggest treats that I have is that we actually get to have lunch every day.
Oh, that's great.
How many couples get to do that? Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because, before, we lived in Washington, D.C. I would kiss her goodbye in the morning and she'd hit the road at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning. She had an 18-mile drive, which, of course, took an hour and a half because it's Washington, D.C. And then we don't see each other until, really almost 30 minutes, time to go to bed, and then rinse and repeat the next day. So this is a real treat. Often we'll drive to work together and we can just talk to each other. So that's a treat. So that's a win. But one other part is that at some point, have you done enough where you would like to give back? And I think part of it, I get a chance to have an impact on a lot of young adults. They're not young; they're adults. These are folks that they're 19 to 23, where you have a chance to sit down and talk with them. And I found, these are amazing people. Look, do I have some folks that don't necessarily give me 100% in class? Yeah, but I graduated in the 1980s, and guess what? We had them too.
Yeah.
It's not just happening now. So am I going to say everybody's amazing? I'm going to say no. Everybody's growing, and some folks grow at different speeds.
Sure.
So you don't always know, but you're there to help and encourage. I said, it's interesting. I just have a motto that my wife and I just remind ourselves each other, and it's no matter what happens. Listen, every student matters.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can meet them where they are and help them, great. If they're not ready for help, well, maybe next semester.
That's wise, Jim. That's wise. Not just student, but every person matters.
Absolutely.
Right. And we got to sometimes, we expect them to come and meet us where we are.
Right.
But we definitely need to go down and whether up, down, cross, and meet
Wherever
them where they are. Right. That's good. So, Jim, if you were to counsel a younger Jim, let's say Jim was 20 years old, what would you tell Jim at 20?
Yeah, I think that Jim at 20 or at say maybe 25, having gotten out of, because I was at 20, I know what I was going through. I am a first generation college graduate. My father only went through the 11th grade, but he was passionate about education.
That's great.
And he was very focused on it. And my sister also graduated from college. And there was never a discussion about if we were going to go to college. It was, you were going to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he never made a lot of money, we actually graduated from school debt free because he said, I'm serious about it. I'm going to make it happen. But what I had is that I was fortunate enough to go to a small private school in North Carolina, Campbell University. Go Camels! But I went on an academic scholarship, and I was so focused on making sure I kept that academic scholarship that I certainly neglected the college experience because I was like, you know what? I needed a 3.2, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, particularly since I didn't have anyone to lean on.
Sure.
And you had to maintain a 3.2 to keep your scholarship. So I was pretty focused on academics because there was no way I was going to lose that scholarship. So maybe I could have loosened up a little bit, but who knows?
Who knows? Well, Jim, I want to thank you so very much. We're actually going to give you an opportunity to loosen up and have a little fun here, right? This is something what we call rapid fire. And maybe your students are watching, some of them, so they'll get to know a little bit more about Professor White.
Okay,
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Oh, wow. And what type of pizza?
I like the New York style pizza, Lombardi's, in New York City, across from Times Square.
And what toppings?
I am old school. I'm okay with cheese.
With cheese.
That's how you know it's good pizza.
Okay. All right. Best city you visited?
Oh, New York City or Charleston, South Carolina. Both wonderful places, totally different vibes.
Absolutely. Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? My children did this to me. Okay, I just qualify. We watch it every Christmas. Princess Bride. I've even read a couple of books on it.
You're going to get such a ribbon at school.
I love the old school movies. I love anything with Humphrey Bogart. I love anything with John Wayne. But I have watched Princess Bride probably more than The Quiet Man, which would be number 2.
Okay. All right. Jim, lastly, favorite words to live by?
Ooh, okay. I tell this to my students. I put a quote up on the board every single day before class, and it's a quote just to prompt discussion. And I hit this one recently, and so I'm going to share it with you now. Everybody needs someone to love, something to do, and something to live for.
Hmm.
So there we go. I try to
Repeat
check
that.
those boxes every day.
Repeat that one more time, Jim.
Everybody needs someone to love, something to do, and something to live for.
Very good. Very good. Dr. Jim, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they go about doing that?
The best way to do it is the name that you see there is Jim White, PhD. That's exactly the way it looks on LinkedIn. And I am on LinkedIn daily, if not hourly. I'm on it a lot. So reach out to me. I'll be glad to connect and share any book thoughts. And please follow the Book Doctor, because I got another post coming up on Monday.
All right. I will be there. As you know, you're my new person that I follow on LinkedIn. Love the books.
Thank you.
Love what you're doing.
I love also, Patrick, please give me some book ideas. Anybody out there, if you got some book ideas where you say, hey, you should review this, I'm interested. I would love to have any ideas, because there's no way I know all the good books. There's just so many out there and so many great people out there reading them. So I'd appreciate some help.
All right. So you heard it from Dr. Jim. If you have the name and author of great books, follow him on his social media feed, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. So you can follow him and make sure that you send him those recommendations of the books that you've read. Dr. Jim, I want to thank you so very much for taking time. Say hi to your bride and your family. Be well, my friend, and Merry Christmas and a safe and healthy and wonderful 2022.
Thank you so much. To you as well, Patrick.
Thank you.
Right on.
Thank you. All right. So we've been talking to Dr. Jim White and the Book Doctor, and you heard of his story. I want to thank you for being here. This has been the 30 on another week. Hope to see you next week. Make sure that you tell someone, make sure that you join our community, connect with us on our social, whether it's me personally on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. Make sure you go to the Jackman Group LLC YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can see all of our broadcasts there, or you can subscribe to me personally or connect with me personally on LinkedIn. Until next time, be safe, and be safe. May God bless you and your family. We'll see you next time. Peace.